Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Crazy Shot Josh, and we are back. We had a great, terrific NFL week 3 of football. Now we are on the week 4 tonight for Thursday night football. We got a division battle of the NFC West. We have the Cardinals versus the Seahawks, and I'm picking the Cardinals to do an upset. Shout out to Kyle Murray, man. I feel like they just gonna win tonight. I feel like I'm looking at the money lines, the sharp lines. I'm looking at all that, and it's telling a story. And the story it's telling me is trust in Kyle Murray. I get it. Excuse me. The Ravens are all banged up. They lost James Conner, unfortunately, for the end of the season. He's out. So Trey Benson is the hottest thing in fantasy right now. Everybody's trying to get them a piece of Trey Benson. Pick up Trey Benson while you still can. Let's see what else we got going on. The Ravens are in trouble. The Ravens are very much in trouble. Derrick Henry has a fumble problem. I don't know what got into Derrick Henry, but for 3 games, this man has had a fumble. In 2 of the games versus the Chiefs, versus the Lions, he had a costly fumble that ultimately cost the Ravens the game. The Ravens defense is abysmal. This is one of the worst defenses in football. One of the worst passing defenses in football. Between them and the Cowboys, I don't know whose pass defense is currently worse right now. They can't guard. They can't cover. They didn't get no pressure on Jared Goff. Jared Goff had all his time in the world. They allowed David Montgomery to go for $152 on them. And how you let David Montgomery do that to y'all? Just abusing your D-line. They had no resistance against him. Jamar Gibbs had no resistance against him. They just had no resistance against anybody. They had no answers for nobody. The fact that the Lions were able to ground and pound and win that football game shows a lot about Dan Campbell, who he is as the head coach, a lot about the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are as the Ravens we're used to seeing. This Ravens team is abysmal. I don't know what's going on. Zay Flowers was just out there just running, doing cardio in the first half. No catches, no targets in the first half. I don't know what Lamar had going on. Andrews decided to have a resurrection in his career. All of a sudden, Lamar started passing him the ball. I believe he got a touchdown. But yeah, Rashad Bateman was catching the ball. D-Hop got on some passes. But this Ravens offense, it's abysmal. It's not even the offense, it's the defense. It's just abysmal. I don't know what caught on to Derrick Henry, what that brother got going on for him to start fumbling like the way he fumbling. He got like his butter on the football or something. Like, he just got butterfingers. They punching out the ball. They don't respect Derrick Henry no more. I think teams are not scared of Derrick Henry like they once were. Hold on, everybody. Let me throw this onto the screen so we could look at this and talk about this. This Monday night game. This was just pure dominance, by the way. The Lions just pummeled and dominated them left and right. Jared Goff threw for 202 yards. He had a rating of 103.6, a 72 QBR. Dave Montgomery, 12 carries for a $151 and 2 tutties. Jahmyr Gibbs, 22 carries for 67 yards and 2 tutties. So the Lions accounted for 224 rushing yards. And the bulk of it was David Montgomery. He had more than half. I think he had about 65%. I ain't no mathematician. I am a hooked on phonics kid. Math ain't my specialty. I am a part-time dyslexian sometimes when it comes to these numbers. But anyhow, 151. Insane. Shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He won fantasy for me today. I mean, not today, on Monday. I was scared. I was sweating. I was on the edge of my seat. I was only up by 20 points. And if he had another touchdown, it would have been over for me. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get all the targets in this offense. Obviously, the man was targeted 8 times for 7 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. If you have him in fantasy, shout out to you because he is eating. Another problem that the Ravens were having against the Lions, they could not run the ball. It was like a brick wall in front of them. Derrick Henry had 12 for 50, 4.2 average, one touchdown, and 28 was his longest. Lamar Jackson, 7 carries, 35 yards, 5.5 yards in average, no touchdowns. Mark Andrews, resurrection career, 6 receptions off of 6 targets for 91 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns. Shar Bateman was your second best receiver with 5 receptions, 63 yards, 12.6, one touchdown off of 7 targets. The fact that your number one wide receiver, Mr. Zay Flowers, only had 2 receptions off of 3 targets is nasty, insane work. That first half, he was basically shut out. He was non-existent. He was a non-factor. Nobody knew who he was or what he was doing. He was just out there doing cardio, getting a workout in. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't understand how Zay Flowers only had 3 targets in this whole game and 2 receptions. How does your number 2 wide receiver, Rashad Bateman, your number 1 wide receiver, Mark Andrews, get outpaced by Zay Flowers? Zay Flowers looked at like a wide receiver 3 in this game. And when you have their, first of all, Lions corner is not good. Terry Honor, Mucho Galente Basura. Yeah, he ain't good number 1 corner. He holds way too much. He gets lost in routes. He gets burnt. But I can't talk much because Marlon Humphrey ain't no better over there. Awuzie ain't no better over there either. But yeah, shout out to the Lions for having this dominant win. Baltimore Ravens, y'all are in trouble. And since we on the, let's look at y'all schedule. Y'all are 1-2. Y'all third in the AFC North. Oh, do they win that division? I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, like I don't understand how the Ravens keep getting to the shootouts with games and losing. That Buffalo, ugly loss. They should have won that game. They beat Cleveland, which is a pitiful offense, so they ain't really saying much. You lose to Detroit. Now you go to Kansas City. Kansas City is in the same record as you, 1-3. One of these two teams will be 1-4 and probably miss the playoffs. So you in a dogfight with Kansas City. And we all know Kansas City secondary is mucho galante basura. That defense has been bad. The offense has not been the offense that we're used to seeing and looking like. That offense has been spotty at best. There's no consistency. Then you play the Texans. You should beat the Texans. That offensive line that CJ got is mucho galante basura. They just let anybody through that O-line. That O-line is letting everybody anything. It's like the pearly gates of heaven just opening up. Then you got the Rams. They probably lose to the Rams. Then they got their bye week. And they play Chicago. This might sound a little nasty, but I think Chicago could potentially beat the Ravens. Because that defense is so non-existent. I think Caleb Williams can win. I think Chicago's defense can get more important stops versus the Ravens trying to get stops. They play Dolphins, you should beat the Dolphins. You play Minnesota, you're losing to Minnesota. That's one of the best defenses in the league. Well, one of the best DCs in the league, who disguises coverages and brings a lot of blitzes and pressure. And the way that Lamar Jackson's O-line just looked against the Detroit Lions, yeah, it's over for him. They play Cleveland again. I think they lose that game. The only time you're going to split in division games. Hopefully, Cleveland will have started either Shador Sanders or Gabriel Dillon, one of them two. Then you play the Jets. I'm going to edge out the Jets. The Bengals, you're going to beat the bricks out of them. You got Pittsburgh. I'm going to go Pittsburgh. You play the Bengals again. I think y'all going to 0-2. I think they 0-2 the Bengals. Then you got to go play New England. Go play New England at home. So, if I'm looking at, I think they could get, let's see. This Kansas City game is a toss up. I don't know. It's 50-50 with me, so it's up to y'all. I'm going to edge out the Ravens. So what's that? 2-2. They beat Houston 3-2. They lose Los Angeles. That's 3-3. Bye week. Chicago 3-4. I think they're gonna lose to Caleb Williams and Bears, so that's 3-4. Miami they win, so they 4-4. They lose to Minnesota, so that's 4-5. Cleveland, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give them the edge, so 5-5 record. 6-5, they're gonna beat the Jets. Cincinnati, 7-5. Pittsburgh, that's a division game that go either way. I'm gonna edge out. They're gonna go 7-6. They beat them again, 8-6. New England, I'm picking New England, 9-6. So I think they go 9-6 this season. So I take that back. They will make the playoffs with a 9-6 record easily. But I think they finish out the season with 9 wins. I don't think they get 10. 9-6. Yeah, I think they go 9-6, man. Their schedule's not that brutal like I thought it was. The only teams that I think that they're clearly better than them, that they're probably gonna lose to, Minnesota, Rams, and that's it. Though I think those are only 2 teams. Everything else, I'm either edging them out or I'm edging out the other team. It's a close call for either or. But Derrick Henry having 3 fumbles, having a fumble in every game this season is nasty. He need to learn ball control and ball security. Mr. Butterfingers over here getting the ball punched out of his hand. Like, brother, hold on. But you strong for nothing, 265 pounds for what? Getting a ball punched out. Let's see what we got. Justin Herbert's MVP season. Justin Herbert is looking like the best quarterback in the NFL. He's clearly QB1, and it's not close. This man has been dominant in 3 games. He has dominated 3 division rivals. He beat the Chiefs, and the stunning display straight destroyed them. Then he went to play the Raiders, beat the Raiders. And then this Sunday, in a very, very close game, but he still managed to pull it off, you beat the Denver Broncos, a very good defense, one of the better defenses in the league. This team is hitting on all cylinders on offense, defense, special teams. I think Justin Herbert is clearly the best quarterback this season and having the best season for a quarterback this particular season. Keenan Allen's career is getting resurrected. Not Keenan Allen, I'm sorry. Keenan Allen looked like he never left the building. Quinn Johnson has a resurgence. He knows how to hold on to the ball. He finally not dropping the ball. Yeah, their running game is looking good. They're airing out the ball, which is surprising in a Greg Roman-led offense. Because anybody know about Greg Roman, he likes to run the ball down your throat, pause, and pummel you. The fact that they're passing the ball as much as they are is kind of crazy to me. So, versus the Broncos, division game. I believe this game, they were at home. Justin Herbert threw the ball 47 times. That's crazy in a Greg Roman offense. I did not expect that at all. Especially with the Harbaugh brother. I did not expect that at all. But he threw for 300 yards. He averaged 6.4 yards per pass. He had a touchdown and a pick. His QBR was a 44 and his rating was 76. It's not his best game per se, but it was still a pretty solid outing by him. Omar Hampton, 19 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. I would expect the rookie Omari Hampton to get, as the season progresses, for him to get the ball more, for him to start somewhere between 21 and 20, somewhere between 20 and 25 carries. They need to increase his running game, his production. I don't think Justin Herbert realistically needs to be throwing the ball 47 times a game. That's crazy. That's insane. But Quinn Johnson was the number. He had the most yards. Keenan Allen had the most receptions. Quinn Johnson has 689 for 89 yards off of 10 targets. Keenan Allen has 7 for 65, a touchdown off of 11 targets. Ladd, unfortunately, is looking like wide receiver 3 in this offense for some odd reason. I don't know. Ladd had 4 for 41 off of 7 targets. We all know Ladd is clearly the number 1, but lately in this Chargers offense, he's been looking like wide receiver 3. And Quinn Johnson's been looking like wide receiver 1. Then we had Bo Nix, threw the ball 25 times, completed 14 for 153 yards and a touchdown. QBR 38.6. He had a rating of 87. J.K. Dobbins had 11 carries, 83 yards for a touchdown. He's averaging 7.5 per carry. Then Courtland Sutton. This was big news for fantasy managers, because if you have Courtland Sutton on your fantasy team like I happen to have, a lot of us thought that Troy Franklin was Troy Franklin time after that last game, but it turned out to be a fluke. He had 6 for 118 and a touchdown off for 8 targets. They had no answer for Courtland Sutton. RJ Harvey had 3 for 14 for 3 targets. And Troy Franklin had 2 for 8 yards off of 4 targets. RJ Harvey should be the starting running back soon. We're just gonna have to be patient. I don't think J.K. Dobbins is gonna be able to hold this steadability of him keep running the ball like this. I don't think he's gonna be able to. I think RJ Harvey soon is gonna be the number 1 brat. He needs to be more involved in the offense. But the Chargers are 3-0, and they have all beat their division rivals. They have beat every single one of their division rivals. So that's pretty impressive. Justin Herbert is playing out of his mind. Let's see where Justin Herbert leads in the NFL and passing yards and all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure he's top 10 in passing yards, top 10 in passing touchdown. Let me change my screen so y'all can see this. So got Jay Herbert. So right now, Justin Herbert's number 1 in the NFL with yards, with 860 yards. For touchdowns, Justin Herbert is number 6 in the league with 6 touchdowns. For completions, Justin Herbert is number 6 with 72 completions. That's for passing attempts. Passing attempts, he's number 7 with 108 passing attempts. For his passer rating this season, he's number 7 with a 105 passer rating. Let's see, yards per attempt. He's number 6, 8.0. For completion percentage, now completion percentage is he's at number 15 at 66.7. Spencer Rattler having a higher completion percentage than him is nasty. And Jake Brown, and that's insane work. For completion over expected, CPOE for you advanced stat nerds that love this stat. Justin Herbert right now is a plus 2.7. And his EPA for you advanced stat nerds who love these stats, boy. Justin Herbert's number 5 with a plus 25. And his pressure rate this season has been 40.9. So I would say for the most part, he's been seeing a clean pocket for the most part. But yeah, shout out to Jay Herbert, man. Can't believe he's actually MVP candidate. Chargers are one of the better teams in the AFC and the best team in the AFC. Would never thought I'd live to see that. Let's go and look at some of his. Let's look at some of the throws from this game. He's averaging 270 passing yards a game, almost 2 touchdowns, 20 rushing yards. Let's look at some insights. Justin Herbert joined Dan Fouts as the only Chargers QB to start season 3-0 with 800 passing yards through the first 3 games of the season. Justin Herbert was pressured on 54% of his dropbacks, so they were getting pressure on him against the Broncos, the highest pressure he faced in any game in his career. So the Broncos were getting after him. Herbert completed 10 of the 23 attempts under pressure for a 143 yards, a touchdown, and an incompletion while taking 5 sacks. Herbert also struggled against the Broncos' blitzes, completing 7 of his 12 attempts for 100 yards and an interception and taking a sack. So this is where the line of scrimmage is. He was thrown basically all over the field. Basically the middle of the field, as we can see, was the one that was mainly open. He threw a pick at the 20-yard line. But yeah. Justin Herbert has a passer rate at least 110 in each of his last 5 games. This is the longest streak in the NFL since Patrick Mahomes did it in 2018 with 7 consecutive. Through 2 games, Herbert has completed 44 of 61 passes for 560 yards, ranking second in success rate at almost 60%. When blitzed this season, Herbert has completed 18 of 24 passes for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Broncos blitzed on 71% of Daniel Jones' dropbacks in week 2 against Colts, the highest single rate of any team since the start of 2024. Jones completed 16 and 24 passes for 256 yards, the 4th most against the blitz since 2016, and a touchdown against the Broncos blitz. So, with that being said, they were bringing the pressure to Justin Herbert. He was getting pressured a lot. They had a 26.4 blitz rate versus the Raiders and the Chiefs. It was a 39 and 39 blitz rate. And versus the Broncos, the receivers were not getting much separation. As we can see, it was 2.5. He had 2.96, almost 3 seconds to throw and get rid of the ball. So Justin Herbert has been under a lot of pressure this season. And he's finding ways to make plays. Let's look at some of his completions. Let's see if Justin Herbert can be successful in the playoffs. Because that's the true question. This is pretty good coverage by the Broncos. Quentin Johnson catches the ball. But that was pretty good coverage by... Oh, my goodness. He broke out the tackle. Okay, QJ. Go, Quinn. Go, 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 go. Oh. That was pretty good coverage by the... Looked like he tweaked his ankle. But that was pretty good coverage by the Broncos. They stayed with him for the most part. Send Ladd in motion. Throw to Quinn Johnson again. And there goes the baby, the best corner in football, Patrick Surtain II. He won Depoy last season. One of the best corners in the game. With the Broncos blitzing as much as they were, Justin Herbert had to get the ball quickly out of his hands. He did not have that much time to throw. He had to be quick passes, a lot of in routes, check downs. Basically, the Broncos were playing everything up top, leaving everything underneath open. And Justin Herbert basically took advantage of that. It looks like the Broncos were playing a lot of heavy zone coverages. Told him 3 blitzers and he's still on the run. What a pass! That was a good pass. 4-man rush. Man, right open. Found him. Quinn Johnson is a big receiver. He's a receiver you give, throw it up. He's good for like 50-50 balls. Pause. He's a bigger receiver. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", somewhere in that range. Whoop. Excuse me. Pass interference. He still caught the ball. Show a couple more plays and then we're going to move on to the next topic, man. Empty backfield. Shotgun. All right. Now we're going to talk about the Dallas Queens who decided to now, now we're going to definitely show highlights for this game. Let's go. Let's first look at the stats. The Dallas Cowboys have a problem. It's a major problem. Their secondary is atrocious. Versus the Bear, they look lost. Like they didn't know where to be, where to go, what was the scheme. They look completely clueless and pathetic. And you mean to tell me y'all like Caleb Williams get off a flea flicker that he basically threw up in the air that I think it was Doomsday who caught it, or DJ Moore, one of them 2 receivers caught it. Wide open. Nobody was there. He just caught it. He just threw the ball. He just said, just threw up a prayer off a flea flicker. When's the last time in the NFL y'all seen a player complete a flea flicker? Dallas Cowboys went out bad. Caleb Williams looked like a top 5 quarterback. Looked like the best quarterback in the league. That defense couldn't stop a nose from bleeding. Putrid defense. I understand. Y'all lost Micah Parsons, your best defensive player. But you mean to tell me y'all couldn't beat the Bears? The Bears, the Chicago Bears. Man, they ought to be. With the Cowboys, ain't one thing, it's another. If it ain't the offense, it's defense. If it ain't the defense, it's the offense. Y'all allowed Caleb Williams to throw for 298 yards and 4 touchdowns. The man threw for 4 touchdowns. Had an 86 QBR and a 142.6 rating. They barely ran the ball. They did get stops running the ball. So the Cowboys were able to stop the run. But the passing, Luther Burn, 3 for 101 and a touchdown off of 3 targets. Romeo Doomsday or Doomsday out of Dooms, whatever the brother name is. 3 receptions, 62 yards, a touchdown off of 7 targets. DeAndre Swift, 3 receptions, 45 yards off of 4 targets. DJ Moore, 4 receptions off of 21 yards off of 5 targets. The fact that Luther Burn was able to run past your whole secondary and light it on fire the way he did. This man had 101 yards off of 3 receptions. Caleb Williams had 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. Luther Burn got one. Dunes got one. DJ Moore got one. Shoot, even Cole Kmet got one. And he barely plays. Just passed all over you. They ain't even need a run game. They ain't even need to run the ball. If you have Dak in fantasy, he's probably going to finish top 10 fantasy QB. Because this defense is so bad, so atrocious, they're going to be playing from behind, which means that Dak is going to have to throw the ball more. As you can see, he threw the ball 40 times for 251 yards and 1 touchdown. He threw 2 picks. Javonte Williams only rushed 10 times for 76 yards. Jake Ferguson is a true number 1 wide receiver for Dallas Cowboys. This man had 13 receptions off of 14 targets. Dak only saw Jake Ferguson. You trade for George Pickens. Why do you have George Pickens? Okay. A number 1 wide receiver. We've seen him be a number 1 over there in Pittsburgh. CeeDee Lamb, unfortunately, he gets hurt. There is no reason why he should only have 5 receptions, and Jake Ferguson has 13. Against a very banged up Chicago secondary that's playing second stringers right now, second and third stringers. Their number 1 corner is hurt, so he's not even playing. George Pickens should have way more yards, way more receptions. He did get a touchdown. This wide receiver depth on the Cowboys is mucho caliente basura. Kevon Turpin is basically your number 2, or Tolbert. I don't even know who's number 2 and number 3 wide receivers. Those are your number 2s and 3s. So you got George Pickens, Turpin, Tolbert, and Jake Ferguson. So if you're fantasy owners, Jake Ferguson is about to get a lot of targets, as we just saw. He just got 14 against the Bears off of 13 receptions. Javonte Williams fumbled the ball and had a lost fumble. The Cowboys, this secondary is atrocious. This is one of the worst secondaries in football, and it's not close, not a conversation, none of that. I'm about to give you a very interesting stat about this Cowboys defense and how atrocious it is. Nope, wrong thing. Give me 1 second. Because they're allowing one of the highest completion percentages to quarterbacks. Oh, this is not even updated. I thought this was updated. This is not even updated. Oh, sorry. I found what I was looking for, guys. Bear with me now. Dallas Cowboys are allowing a 67. Nope, that's wrong. The Dallas Cowboys are allowing 10.6 passing yards per play. So they're basically allowing a first down per a play. The only two teams that's ahead of them that's even worse is Chicago and the Saints. And then for passing yards allowed, the Dallas Cowboys are number one in the league, allowing 422 yards. 422 yards. Matter of fact, let me put this on the screen so y'all can see this. How pathetic of a defense this is, especially when it comes to passing the ball. So now teams are looking at the Dallas Cowboys like they food, like this, like they cupcakes. Check this out. Check this out. Dallas Cowboys passing yards 422. 422. For yards after the catch, for team yards after the catch, Dallas Cowboys number 4, 169. Only the Jets, Bengals, and the Bucks is worst. This is just their pass defense. Oh, let's look at average separation. Oh, would you look at that? They tied with the Bills with 5.2 for your average separation between the corner and the wide receiver. Yeah, this defense is atrocious. Versus the Cowboys, they're passing 67.7% of the time. Let's see how many touchdowns the Cowboys giving up so far this season. Oh, look at that. The Cowboys are number 3 with 4. Only the Browns and the Bears have given up more touchdowns. The opponent's time to throw. Let's see what the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, would you look at that? Dallas Cowboys 3.2. I don't know why they got some teams twice in here. 3.2. This Cowboys defense is pathetic. It's one of the worst defense in all of football. Like, we're just talking about. Let's see how many points they allow per game. Oh, look, Dallas Cowboys number 6, almost 30.7 points a game. Pathetic. Yards allowed per game. Dallas Cowboys allowing almost 400 yards. The only worst team of the Giants. This defense might be one of the worst defenses in the league. This is easily a bottom 3 defense. 6.5 yards per play allowed. 6.7. The only team that's worse is this defense is cooked. This defense is so cooked, bro. I don't even know who's their best defender right now. The Dallas Cowboys is cooked. So if you play fantasy, start everybody against Cowboys. The Cowboys are the cupcake team. Like, this is ridiculous. This is the cupcake team. This is the worst pass rush in all of football. And it's not close. So when y'all send y'all lineups and y'all see your players playing the Cowboys, start him. I don't care who he is. Just start him. Opponents getting. Let's see their pressure rate. Pressure rate is actually better than I thought it would be. Their middle pack had number 18, getting 34% of pressures. I mean, which ain't too bad. I'm trying. Yeah, I did. But anyway, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys is cooked. They're mucho galante basura. Pathetic. If you a Cowboys fan, find a new team. You might as well just be a Packers fan at this point. Go Pack, go. And since we're talking about defense, can we talk about how the Browns came back and upsetted one of the better teams in football? They allowed them to get a 53-yarder field goal walk-off. Now, you want to talk about atrocious offense? It's the Browns. The Browns offense is mucho galante basura. That offense was so bad, they barely got past the 50-yard line most of the game. Let's look at the Browns offense and how trash it is. Let's look at team offense. Points per. Let's start from points because we all know the Browns at the bottom of this. So right now the Browns are number 3rd in the league, 15.3 points a game. Pitiful. Pitiful. Oh wait, I take that back. Oh, this is their offense. That's not their defense. I'm sorry, I confused myself. The Browns' offense is averaging about 2 touchdowns a game, 15.3. The only two teams that's worse, as y'all can clearly see, is the Falcons and the Texans. And we're going to talk about the Falcons, too, and how Michael Penix Jr., I don't know what he's doing. He looking like he in Looney Tunes world or something. I don't know what that brother got going on. This is their offense, by the way, guys. We're looking at their offense. The Browns' offense, yards per game, 290. Bottom of the league. Let's see, yards per play. Oh, this is where it gets real spooky and ugly right here. Cleveland Browns, 4.4. The only teams that's worse, Panthers, Bengals, Titans. Let's see how many TDs they scored this year. Oh, look, the Browns. They have 5 touchdowns. Surprised they even got 5. Team passing yards per play. Because, they got an ancient quarterback who was sitting at the table with Jesus breaking bread. The quarterback is so old, Mr. Flacco, that he was here when the earth first got started. He walked on dinosaurs. He walked with dinosaurs. The man's so old, he remembers when man first discovered the wheel. But neither here nor there. 203 yards, passing yards per game, which is 16th, which they're in the middle of the league. Now, team passing yards per play. Oh, look, the Browns, 4.5. Bottom of the league. The only team that's worse is the Titans. Now, defensively, they're one of the best defenses in the league. Top 3 defense this season. They allowed the least amount of yards. The Cleveland Browns is number 1. They only allow 204 yards. So they're the total yards. They're the best defense in the league. It's not even close. It's not even conversation. But anyhow, can we talk about how, well, we are going to talk about how the Browns beat the Packers. And a game the Packers had no business losing at all. They should have won this game. 10-13. This game was ugly. This was an ugly game. This was ugly. The Browns defense basically saved them. Shout out to 11 people that's in here watching me. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate the love. Jordan Love couldn't get nothing going. He only threw 183 yards for a touchdown and a pick. He had a QBR 45 and a rating of 89.2. Josh Jacobs, he didn't get nothing going. 16 carry for 30 yards. He was averaging almost 2 yards per carry. They locked all that up. Had that man in a padded cell with 4 rubber locks up on that mug. Matthew Golden, 4 for 52. Josh Jacobs had 5 receptions, 44 yards. Tyler Kraft, 3 for 29. The only touchdown came from John Fitzpatrick. I don't even know who that guy is. Cleveland, Joe Flacco, 142 yards off of 36 passes for no touchdowns and a pick. QBR, 40. Rating, 55. Quinshon Judkins, if you have him in fantasy, or I happen to get him in one of my leagues for the Lolo because somebody left him on the waiver wire and I decided to pick him up. I was surprised that nobody drafted him. 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. This was his breakout game. I think the Browns should be using him and Dylan Sampson similar to how the Detroit Lions use Dave Montgomery and why am I blanking on the brother's name? And Jamar Gibbs. I think they should use him similar to that. David Njoku was wide receiver 1, 5 for 40 off of 7 targets. Cedric Tillman had 3 for 26. Harold Fanning Jr., one of the rising tight ends in this offense, he had 3 for 25. Isaiah Bond had 2 for 16. When you have the weapons that the Browns have with David Njoku, Harold Fanning Jr., Cedric Tillman, you got a Jerry Jeudy, and Isaiah Bond, Quinshon Judkins. I'm probably dressing that man's name, but I don't know what to tell you. When you have that offense, and you got this quarterback named Joe Flacco, who's about 802 years old. I swear he went to school with Harriet Tubman. The man know KFC. He remember when KFC first got started. When you got this old quarterback, when you have drafted 2 quarterbacks, you drafted Dillian Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. For the love of football, why aren't you starting one of your younger quarterbacks, Cleveland? I'm genuinely curious. Why do you still have Joe Flacco? Your offense is pitiful with him as your QB, as we just saw. Your offense could barely get past the 50-yard line. Your defense is carrying once again. You have good weapons. You should be starting, and Shedeur should be the starter. He clearly is your best quarterback right now. Throw him in the fire and see what you got. I don't understand why you got these 2 young quarterbacks sit on your bench and you want to start Joe Flacco, who went to school with Dave and Goliath, who broke bread with Adam and Eve. Why? Like, I'm not understanding. Why are you keeping them? Why is he still starting? Start one of them, see what you got, and see what you can get. Because this offense ain't going nowhere with Joe Flacco. And at the rate Cleveland's going, y'all be lucky to win 5 games this season. And I'm being nice. It's realistically 3. But you'll be lucky to win 5 games this season. Because that offense is pitiful. Your defense is tired from being on the field so much and so long because your offense can't get nothing going. Myles Garrett is tired. The brother is tired from being on the field majority of the game. These players are tired. Your defense is tired. Denzel Ward is tired. You got 2 rookies. You took one in the 3rd round, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you still want to start old ass Dirt Flacco? What you gonna do with old ass Dirt Flacco? What he gonna do for you, huh? Let's be honest. What are he really gonna do? The man got a noodle arm. The man's lucky the ball go 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. You're lucky if you even get that from him. You got Isaiah Bond, a speedster. You have Jerry Jeudy, a very good number 1 wide receiver. You have a Harold Fanning Jr., a rookie tight end that's showing you he's capable of being a good tight end for you. You have David Njoku. You have a Quinshawn Judson. I'm butchering his name. He got a ghetto name, respectfully. But yeah. And you mean to tell me with all of that, with a good offensive line, a decent offensive line, you still going to start Joe Flacco? What can Joe Flacco do for you? Absolutely nothing. The brother can't do nothing for you. All you could do that's nasty, Rose. That's real nasty. Justin Herbert is definitely winning MVP this season. If he keeps up what he's doing, he's winning MVP. Let's talk about teams that are 3-0 this season and the surprising teams that are 3-0 in the NFL this season. One of the teams that I'm surprised that's 3-0, the Chargers. Believe it or not, I'm surprised that team is 3-0. The Colts. That's another team that I'm surprised is 3-0. I didn't think Daniel Jones was going to come out here balling like he's been balling. This team has yet to punt the ball. I don't understand how this team is doing what it's doing. So we got the Chargers who are 3-0, the Colts who are 3-0, the Bills, nobody's shocked that they're 3-0. The Eagles are 3-0, even though they should have lost against the Rams in that dogfight of a game. You got Tampa Bay who's 3-0. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. He one of them top 10 quarterback in the league. Then you got the Niners who are all banged up who are 3-0. So for me, the team that I am most surprised that's 3-0 is the Chargers. If you had told me Chargers are going to be 3-0, I would have laughed at you. The second team that I'm surprised 3-0 is Indianapolis Colts. Because nobody saw Daniel Jones doing what he's doing. Nobody saw that at all. We didn't even think that was going to happen. Green Bay could have been 3-0 if they decided not to let the kicker get a 53-yard kickoff, 53-yard field goal from the Browns. San Francisco is San Francisco doing San Francisco things. Colts, most definitely the Colts. Disappointing team so far. Oh yeah, been waiting for this question because what team? The Falcons. 1-2, And they got shut out by the Carolina Panthers. Again, shut out by the Carolina Panthers. Mucho galente basura. You allow Bryce Young to come in there and shut you out like that? That's nasty. That's nasty. You traveled all the way to Atlanta, went to Carolina to get shut out like that. That's nasty, bro. You allow Bryce Young put a 30 ball up on you. A 30 ball. We talking about Bryce Young. That's nasty. Who else is disappointed this season? That's one of them. Mucho guy. The Miami Dolphins, no, because they're mid. I don't believe in Tua. Yeah, that team is just cooked to begin with. I would say the Texans are one of my disappointing teams, but their O-line has been banged up this season. They lost one of their main linemen. Larry Tunsil's old. So I'm kind of not shocked that they 0-3. Tennessee Titans, I'm not shocked with their record. The Chiefs have been a major disappointment at 1-2. There's no way in heaven that team should be 1-2. There's no way that team should be 1-2. The Dallas Cowboys being 1-2, I'm shocked with that. I thought they'd be at least 2-1 by now. I didn't think that defense is going to be as atrocious as it is. I thought their defense is going to at least be average at best. This team is below average defensively. Who else we got? The Detroit Lions, the Bears, the Saints being 0-3. I'm not shocked. That NFC West is about to be that division is about to be a gladiator fight. It's about to be a coliseum in there. You got the Niners 3-0, Cardinals 2-1, Seattle 2-1, Rams 2-1. And Arizona and Seattle is playing tonight, so one of these teams is gonna follow who's gonna be 3-1. My division winners, I'm calling it now. AFC East, Bills, obviously. The AFC North, I'm gonna get a little nasty on y'all. Pause. But I think the Steelers are gonna take that division this year. I think it's the Steelers this year. I think they're taking that division. I think the Steelers take the AFC North this year. AFC South, Colts, obviously. AFC West, the Chargers. I told y'all week 1 they were taking that division, right? They're easily taking that division. And I think the Chargers get 10 wins this year. Chargers get 10 wins. NFC East, the Eagles, obviously. The North, I want to say the Vikings so bad, but I'm gonna edge out the Packers. I'm gonna edge them out. NFC South, give me Tampa Bay and Baker we trust. And NFC West, yeah, I ain't gonna like this one. I'm taking a bit of an upset right now with San Francisco being banged up like they are. I'm taking Seattle to take that division. I think they got the best defense in that division. Offense, I think they got the best offense. Yeah, I'm taking Seattle, man. Give me my boy Sam Darnold, man. I think they take that division. All right. Let's get some fantasy football talk now, man. Let me stop sharing the screen. Let me reshare it. How's everybody's fantasy team doing? I got my first dub in one of my leagues. I was 1-2. It was looking real spooky. This has been a very weird fantasy team. weird fantasy year altogether. Got a lot of players underperforming that you never expect to underperform. So, looking at fantasy 2025. Lamar Jackson is QB1, obviously. He's at 82.7 fantasy points. Daniel Jones being a top 10 fantasy quarterback is insane. I'm not going to lie. Jonathan Taylor is looking at RB1. He's looking like the best running back in the league. He's run 64 routes. Let's look at per game. Let me help you out get some deep sleepers. Jonathan Taylor is the best. James Cook is number 2. James Cook was not. He was looked more of a late round 2, early round 3 running back this year in fantasy. Bijan was supposed to be RB1 this season. It looks like Jonathan Taylor's RB1. Javonte Williams looking better than we is right now. He's RB6. Kenneth Walker, who I happen to draft high, I have him in Derrick Henry in 2 leagues. Kenneth Walker is RB13 and Derrick Henry is RB11. I have David A. Chain in another league. I'm in a lot of leagues, everybody. So I'm telling you now, give or take, I'm about in 10 fantasy leagues. James Conner got hurt, so he's no. You might as well, if you got him. Chase Brown has been a major disappointment in fantasy, but I can't even get mad. Joe Burrow gets hurt. The offense is mucho galante basura without him. So there's that. Brees Hall's been a disappointment in fantasy. He's averaging 7.8 points. Ashton Genty, I don't. It's not even really him. It's just the Raiders don't have a dominant number 1 wide receiver that Geno could throw the ball to. I'm sorry, Jacoby Myers is just not that guy. So their offense is looking very predictable, like they're leaning on a run. And unfortunately, for fantasy owners that have Ashton Genty, who was basically a first rounder RB, you're struggling. You're in the same boat. Then you got Cam Skateboat, Ski Boat, Jet Ski, whatever the brother's name is. He's RB21. I expect that offense to look better with Jackson Dart in there. Excuse me. I think he's going to get more touches. Jordan Mason has been looking like the clear RB1 for the Vikings. Yeah. Obviously, Trey Tucker, he had that crazy, what was it, week 2? He had a crazy week 2. So that put him on top of the boards. Puka Nuka, Wuka, whatever that brother name is. You got him. He's wide receiver 4 currently in fantasy. The JSN show. If you have Cortland Sutton, stick with him, man. Don't trade him away. If you're 0-3, yeah, you need to start trading players to even have a slither of a hope. I think you probably have like a 20% chance, maybe even slighter than that, of making your fantasy playoffs. So if you are 0-20, I mean 0-3, I said 0-20, that's crazy. If you're 0-3, you need to start making some trades. George Pickens is wide receiver 18, averaging 9.6. Ricky Parcell, 9.2. If you have Debo, not Debo Samuel, Brendan Ayuk, you need to drop him. We don't know when he's coming back. He's not gonna look the same. I dropped him off my team. Now, the GM of the 49ers is saying they don't have a time frame of when he's gonna come back. So yeah, it's time to. He's cooked. DK Metcalf, he's cooked too low key. He's gonna be a boomer bust type wide receiver. Pause. Uh, Torrey Hohen's not bad. He's a wide receiver 3, but he's getting like 46% of the play time. If Cooper Cup goes down, obviously that's gonna increase. But yeah, Eric Maynard, I think he's asleep in a lot of leagues. If they could just Cam Ward get that offense going, he's gonna go up in the rankings. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, arguably two of the best receivers in football, the two best receivers in fantasy. Jamar Chase is wide receiver 16, and Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 22. It is week 3, so I wouldn't panic about them. They're gonna get their targets, obviously. Jamar Chase is running 32 routes per game. He's getting 9 targets for 7 receptions for 80 yards. He's getting 28.4 target percentage, 2.5 yards per route. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you got anybody on the Bengals, it's time to panic. I try to trade him away personally because Jake Brown ain't it. He ain't it. Try to see if you would get some quality players for Jamar Chase, a T. Higgins. Trade them away. Don't keep them on your team. Chase Brown, because they just ain't it. Justin Jefferson has a 30% target share, 2.7 yards per route, which is not too bad. And obviously he's playing 92% of the time he's on the field. But this has been a very... If you had told me the top 5 wide receivers would be Quinn Johnson, Puka Trey Tucker, Doomsday, and Amon St. Brown, I probably would have laughed at you. Let's look at the tight ends. Hunter Henry being tight end 2 is not surprising. Dallas Goedert, tight end 15. Not surprising. Jake Ferguson, I expect him to finish as a top 10 fantasy tight end, especially with the way, the Cowboys are playing. Harold Fanning Jr., if he's still available in your fantasy league, I would suggest you go pick him up. When playing fantasy, me personally, I prioritize wide receivers, running backs, then I guess QBs, and then kickers. QBs and kickers I already don't care for. You can have a mid quarterback and still win your league if you draft correctly. You need dominant wide receivers, dominant running backs. And the reason why I prefer wide receivers over running backs, from my experience of playing fantasy, wide receivers are going to get the more targets. They're going to get the touchdowns. They're just more valuable. Especially if you get a good wide receiver and a dominant wide receiver, you'll be fine. But that's who I target. Shout out to Asia Wilson for winning her MVP. I believe she has 3 MVPs? 4 MVPs, I'm sorry. She's in that GOAT conversation. Like when you talking about who's the best players of the WNBA are, she's up there with the Maya Moores and Lisa Leslie. Yeah, she won her 4th MVP. She's the W's first 4-time MVP winner. The girl's making a strong resume, a mighty strong resume. She has 4 MVPs, 3 depoys, 2 championships, and a Finals MVP before turning 30. She's in that GOAT conversation. And honestly, if Asia Wilson gets another championship, she's on that Michael Jordan tier. She's on. I'm not going to say that. I take that back. She's on a tier of her own. Because when you're going to stack her resume against the Maya Moores, the Candace Parkers, the Lisa Leslies, those are all great resumes, but her resume is going to stand out and stick out more. We're going to be talking about a player who will have 4 MVPs. I don't think she's done with the MVPs. 3 depoys. I think she could still win another depoy. Let's say she does win that championship. You're talking about 3 championships and 2 Finals MVP. That's a dominant resume right there, man. That's one of the more dominant, a GOAT level resume. If Asia Wilson wins another championship, she's the GOAT of the W. Because she's easily a top 3 player of all time. That's not like conversation. You only got Candace Spark and Maya Moore, the only 2 you put above her. And I think she's closing the gap between both of them right now. You understand what I'm saying? And then on top of her winning MVP, she won. Yeah, she won MVP. Oh, she also has a unanimous MVP that she won. Like Asia Wilson, shout out to her, man. It's a joy to watch her play. She's a great basketball player, one of the best to ever do it, one heck of a baller. I want to shout out to all 19 people in the building right now who tapped in, watched the show. Thank you for supporting a young content creator. Thank you for tapping in, showing love and support. We talking my predictions for the Seahawks Cardinals. I'm taking the Cardinals 24-27. I'm taking the Cardinals to upset Seattle tonight on what is this Thursday Night Football. Again, shout out to the 19 people that's in here. Thank you for showing up, showing love. Thank you for being here. Y'all know where to find me at the YouTube, Crazy Shot Josh Universe. Make sure you sub to the channel, like the video, tell your friends, tell your mama's friends, your dad's friends, your girlfriend's friends, your friends' friends. Tell everybody, tell the whole world. Let them know I'm your favorite content creator, your favorite TikToker's favorite TikToker, your YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, your favorite social media creator's favorite social media creator. Like, make sure to tell everybody. Spread the word. Get the word out. You understand what I'm saying? It's free to support. $3.99. Don't cost nothing. All you gotta do is tap, subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, whatever you want to do. It's free to support somebody. Crazy Shot Josh Universe. Hit that sub button. When I get to, if y'all can get me to 5K subscribers by the end of this year, if y'all can give me the 5K subs, I'll do a giveaway. I'll do a random giveaway. You gotta give me the 5K subs on YouTube. You gotta give me to 5K subs on YouTube. You gotta get me to 1,000 followers on Crazy Shot _ Talk Sports. And you gotta get me to 20K by the end of this year on TikTok. If we could meet one of these goals, I'll do a random giveaway. So we're trying to get to 20K on TikTok, 1K on Instagram, 5K on YouTube. If we could reach one of them goals, any one of them goals, I will do a random giveaway. A surprise random giveaway. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is. You're just going to have to tune in to find out. But make sure y'all sub, follow, retweet. On Twitter, if y'all give me to 10K, I'll do a giveaway there. Yeah, y'all know the vibes. Tune in next week. I'll be here, same time, breaking down all the games for Sunday. Sunday night all the games from Sunday, Monday Night Football, and previewing Thursday Night Football. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all have a wonderful night. Y'all take care. Y'all be safe. I'm out of here.